welcome to the show. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Hello, how are you doing? Now, if this is your first time coming over here, welcome to my show. Okay, let's just get into it. This is where we talk about wrestling over here. So I'm streaming live on two different platforms, Riverside and YouTube. So just to make sure everybody understands what we're talking about over here, it's gonna be all wrestling related over her. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I give y'all all of the tea that I can find on everything. But tonight we're gonna be talking about SmackDown and everything that comes with it. Okay, we're gonna be talking about it because it's in our nature to talk about it. Yes, yes. Okay, so let's talk about what had happened on SmackDown today. The show kicked off with the MFTs. You know, the MFTs came out there and decided that they wanted to let the world know that, of course, the game is theirs. Okay. They have officially taken over. All right. And I had to make sure I'm on the right channel, child. Hello, Kira. How are you? Hello, Janelle. How are you? Okay. So, any whoosies. MFTs came out there, Solo came out there to, assert his dominance, said they had to stomp Sammy in the ground to make sure he understood that it is no longer his game, it's his game. You feel me? Hello, Kayla. How are you? And that's when Sammy came out there. Sammy came out there and basically told everybody, he said, look, I came out here to basically say thank you. Thank you for letting me know that this goal of mine getting to this championship, the world heavyweight championship, does not have to be my only goal. He said, before you took away an opportunity from me, I was laser focused on this championship, getting this title. I was laser focused on getting myself to the dance when I could have diversified myself and taken my time to get there. But I had put so much pressure on myself to do this one task that I was about to spiral. And then here you come and you take me out after I'm facing off against Rusev. You in my match, you beat me down, and you take me out of the running. If I beat Rusev, I could have had a pathway through Rusev to get to that title, but now that's not possible. And I have to say that I'm glad that it happened because now I can see that the only title, the title that has eluded my grasp, isn't just the World Heavyweight Championship. And I was like, oh, studios. Backfired. I was like, babes, look at what you did. You messed up. Okay. So Sammy was like, hey, you got a title that I ain't never had the chance of holding. And I would love for you to give me that motherfucker. So you can give me a match today. You can give me a match tomorrow. You can give me a match in 3 days, 2 days, 4 days, whatever makes you happy. And so I was like, you're not even on my show. Okay. So, like, I don't know who told you this or why you're over here talking all this mess, but babe, you're not even on my show, bro. Like, no, like, please find something else to do. So, of course, you know, sorry about that. Of course, he had before that, Sammy had asked for the MFTs to leave the ring. He wanted them to leave because he felt like he needed to talk to him and, have his conversation without, interruptions and without having to worry about them attacking him. This led to a back and forth between the two. Now, of course, Sammy made it very clear that he was not he was not out there to fight, but he made it very clear that he was coming after that championship. And after Solo, basically told him like, nigga, you a Raw man. You know what I'm saying? You're on Raw. Like you're not getting to me because you're on Raw. So I don't have nothing to worry about. And of course, Sammy had to let him down, easy. Sammy said, actually, That's another reason why I came out here to talk to you, because not only am I not on Raw anymore, but I'm actually over on Smackdown. I'm on your house. I'm in your house. Ain't that nice? Ain't that nice? I'm in your house. Me and you live here now. I'm at the room down the hall. And you in the master, you only in the master bedroom for now. Actually, Cody in the master bedroom. You got the little, the little secondary bedroom. But that's okay, because I'm finna get up to where you at. I'm finna get up to that. Anyway, he was like, they got the fighting. And of course, Jacob and them came out there and they got the fighting. So it was Jacob, Jim, Sammy, all of them. And Sammy made it very clear that he was coming after him and he was coming after that championship. Now, Nikki came out there. And Nick says, he was like, there's no need to argue and there's no way to welcome somebody to our show. But he says, since Solo ain't got no damn manners, Sammy, welcome to SmackDown. Welcome to the Blue Brand, okay? And since y'all so eager to scrap, you gotta squabble up and shit. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all have a 6-man tag team match. That's gonna be our main event. See y'all later. Okay, so nigga, all this made it a nice little match on the fly. We love that for him. The next matchup for the night was between Bliss and Piper. Now this match was actually really cool. Um, Charlotte and them was out there, and so was the rest of the Secret Her Service, and of course Chelsea. Now Chelsea is making it very clear that she don't really give a damn about this newly formed tag team between Bliss and Charlotte. She don't care nothing about that. What she care about is her Secret Her Service getting a title shot at some point. Okay, and she was like, I was just trying to tell them last week that they little bogus ass team was trash. And I wanted to break up their little birthday party. That's all. I just wanted to break up their birthday party. And they just put my face in a cake. And I was like, girl, you asked them for the cake. You asked the girls to bring the cake in the ring. Had you not told them to bring the cake in the ring, your ass wouldn't have ended up in cake, ma'am. Okay? Now, Piper and Bliss had a match. Bliss was fighting for her life against that big bitch, but she was not able to keep her down. Every time she got that lady on the ropes, she, fucking Piper would find a way to take Bliss out. And Bliss ain't but big as a minute. Okay, so it was a hard uphill battle, between her, Zelina Vega. They smaller women, but they can go. They scrappy little women. Okay, now of course, Chelsea and Alba got involved, and of course, Charlotte went out there and took care of it the best way she could. They tried to steal Bliss's little doll, so she went and took that and kept that on her side of the ring. Now, after the match was over, because there was some slight distraction from Chelsea, and so of course Charlotte got her off the apron. That allowed for Bliss to get the win, but she stayed in the ring, and Alba ended up kicking her in the face. Now it was a 3-on-2 assault, but for the most part, Charlotte and Bliss was able to fend them off. However, with Alexa Bliss taking a bunch of damage from Piper, getting kicked in the face, Bliss was out. So it was left to Charlotte. Charlotte had to defend herself against Alba, Piper, and Chelsea. But her biggest issue was fucking Piper. Piper ran into damn Charlotte like she was a train out of hell, and then the bitch fell on her. Then they brought Bliss back in there, and they fell on her too. I said, Lord have mercy. All these white women getting squashed on TV it's hurt my soul, especially the little tiny ones. Oh, I felt so bad for Bliss. She was taking a lot. She took a lot of damage today. She took a lot of damage today. A lot of damage today. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I missed Donnie's comment. Let me see. Oh, hey, Donnie. Hey. Okay, what Kendrick said. Someone better squabble up. Period. Okay. Now, I hate this sometimes. All right. So, yeah, that happened. The match was over, but the Secret Heart Service was standing tall. And I mean, after last week, I'm not surprised, but the girls had a pretty good moment. If I'm being honest with y'all, that was the only thing with the women that was actually a match shown on TV. And if you ask me, they could have done more with the girls in the back, especially with Julia being champion and her not being seen on TV in a while. And of course, you got Tiffany Stratton, who ain't really wrestling either. Now, what we did get was Nick Aldis in the back trying to calm a storm between Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is making the case that if Tiffany Stratton's foot hadn't got to that rope, that she would have been able to get the championship. And Tiffany Stratton is like, girl, I don't care about how many excuses that you make. We can go and run this shit back, but the outcome is gonna remain the same. Then here come Nia Jax's thick ass. Now I don't know why Lash Legend wasn't in the back whooping her ass, especially after the last 2 weeks Lash Legend has had. She should have been rolling up on that big bitch. Okay, I want to see Lash Legend on Smackdown stalking Nia Jax until Nia Jax give her another match and she win. I want her to whoop her ass everywhere she turn, everywhere you look. Bitch, I'm watching you. Okay, that's what I want. Cause Lash took her ass to the night water. You understand? She whooped her ass. And had she not have got that damn annihilator on, she still be getting her ass whooped. You understand? Now, Nia coming there talking about some, oh, you went to Queen of the Ring and then you got a match and didn't win. Can't relate because I won my match. Um, yeah, bitch, we know. We don't need a refresher. And your days of being champion are what? Let's hit with me. They're over. Yeah. Now she's like, now me on the other hand, I obviously deserve another title shot at Tiffany. And I'm like, no, the fuck you don't. You lost your last title match clean. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Last time y'all had a title match, I think that was like your second time going after Tiffany Stratton for a title match. Bitch, go sit down somewhere. Please. Please. Nia and Jada both got issues of always wanting a title shot after they lose. Right? It's so weird. Like, girl, you're a loser. Do it with dignity and grace. And be Miss United States. Shit, last need to be Nia like a Cherokee drum, period. Get her together. Anyways, now Tiffany Stratton decided she wanted to go borrow Ludwig's balls and basically said, look, I don't care about wrestling you, and I damn sure don't care about wrestling you. She was like, the same thing I told Jade is the same thing I tell you. We can run that shit back, but the outcome is going to remain the same. And she was like, so do with that what you will. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, girl. Okay. So, anywho's, we get to the next match. And it is Fraxium versus awesome him or Oz him. I don't know how they put it together. It really it really don't matter how they put it together. It's just that they put it together. So y'all gotta remember just the working storyline with Carmelo Hayes and with the Miz is that the Miz ghosted Carmelo for 2 months and Carmelo was left to his own devices. And when Carmelo felt like there was nothing else going on between him and Miz, he decided to take things into his own hands. But then Miz pops back up and he's like, look, we're friends, we're cool. Look, I just had to go take care of some things, but my bad, I got you. And he was like, what did Nick Aldis say? He was like, oh, I got us a tag match. He was like, oh, okay. But he had never talked to Nick Aldis. So then he goes and talks to him after he shoos away Carmelo Hayes. Now, Carmelo wants to get a title shot at the United States Championship. But Carmelo was in Boston, Massachusetts. If you don't know, that's where Carmelo Hayes hails from in terms of his hometown, Boston. He got a really nice pop today. The crowd was really behind him. Fraxium is the face, and of course, Miz and Mello are the heels, but because they were home, this was a big deal for Carmelo Hayes. Okay, I think this was like his first or second time wrestling in his home city on the main roster, at least on national TV. I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me in the comments. But Carmelo Hayes was getting all of the cheers. The crowd was really behind him and backing him. We get towards the end of the match because Fraxium did what Fraxium always does. They were high octane. They were acrobatics. They were doing all types of things in this match. Suicide dives, you name it, they got it. The speed, the agility, the move set, everything. It was very, very fun to watch, especially against another hybrid style wrestler like Carmelo. It really works. But I will say, the Miz held his own and was matching Fraxium bar for bar, move for move. So I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? That man has really come a long way. Okay. But Carmelo Hayes was getting ready to get the win and do his finisher. And for whatever reason, The Miz came in, did his mic check, and stole it from him. And I thought that was really messed up. It wasn't like they was just in some random town. They were in Carmelo Hayes's hometown. Okay. And he literally tagged himself in and stole Carmelo's win from him, stole his moment. And I'm just like, what are we doing? What's happening? That is messed up. Now, Carmelo was pissed. And of course, the Miz came and hugged him and was like, "We won. We got the W. You won." Blah blah blah. But Carmelo was not trying to hear that shit. Carmelo was like, "All right, cool. Raise my hand. Yeah, let me get to the back." They got to the back later on in the night. Carmelo Hayes comes up to Nick Aldis while he's talking to the Motor City Machine Guns, and Carmelo Hayes tells Nick Aldis, he's like, "Man, Nick, listen." I'm sorry. Let me. I need to ask you something. I need to talk to you about getting a United States Championship match. And the Miz jumps right in, cuts him off, and he's like, "Yo, let me apologize for Carmelo. He's a little overzealous. I'm sorry, Mr. Aldis." Just very kiss assy, pandering. Like, oh, it was nasty work, honey. So Carmelo is mad. You can visibly see that he is pissed off because, like I said, he's been trying to get himself to the point where he is in the conversation, where he's in the talks, and he hasn't been able to do that. And not only that, the Miz is like blocking him, and he feels like the Miz is blocking him. So it led to a lot of back and forth because Motor City Machine Guns was, antagonizing him. Chris Sabin was like, "I just want to know something, Carmelo. Like, are you him or are you his? Like, what's T, sir?" I was like, "Oh." I'm like, because you white, I don't think you should have been asking him that question because that sounded low key like he was asking if he has ownership over him, and I take offense to that. And I know that's not what you meant, but that's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like, babe. And I would have slapped the shit out your ass. You ain't your Justin Bieber haircut, okay? I'd have slapped you. But Miz was just like, going off and like, you ain't gonna talk to him like that. And I'm a former this, rattling it down. And Motor City Machine Guns is like, well, it looked like it was two people out there that barely know each other and can barely tag team. Whereas we been a tag team for over a decade. There's levels to this, and you're not on our level. And I was like, well, you know what, Chris, Alex Shelley got you there, babes. I mean, one of his sons right now is running a whole new faction over there. Uh, is running a whole new faction over there on Raw, and about 15 other wrestlers, including Gargano, are one of his children too. So he kind of got you. He kind of got you there. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? So Nick Aldis was like, well, you know what? This gave me a nice little idea. I mean, let's test your strength. You know what I'm saying? Let's do some Mortal Kombat. Test your might, bitch. Let's go. How about next week? It is Carmelo and Miz versus Motor City Machine Guns. Yes, yes, we love that. Amazing. I'm gonna book it. It's happening. Sure. Mm-hmm. So match is made. Everything is booked. It will be Motor City Machine Guns versus Miz and Carmelo next week. Now I don't know if they're gonna end up winning. If they do win, great. I love that for them. If they don't, I'm not mad at that either. I'm really more interested in how they plan on breaking these two squads up. Now, every SmackDown is very tag team focused. If you notice, it is extremely tag team focused, okay? Now, when you watch and you're watching all of the segments that involve the tag teams, the Wyatts come out during this match with Fraxium and of course Miz and Carmelo. There were Dexter and Joe Gacy showed up in the arena. When they were backstage, um Uncle Howdy was back there lurking in the shadows. And then when you saw MFT come up against the Street Profits, which I'll get to in a second, you saw um you saw one of the Wyatts back there. It could have been Nikki or it could have been it looked like it was Nikki because it was white. From what I saw, it was white. Was it Nikki back there, AJ?
I couldn't tell who was
But
back
you could
there.
tell it was
Oh, it was somebody. It was one of the wives for sure.
yeah, but it just didn't look like Eric Rowan
Holding a
was back
mallet or
there.
something.
I thought it was Nikki. But I don't know who it was, but it was obviously it was a Wyatt that was back there. And everybody that all the tag teams that had a segment this week today, they all had a Wyatt somewhere lurking in the background. So what had happened was backstage, Byron was asking the Street Profits like how they were gonna, basically get past Gargano on some if you win, where do you think you'll go from here? And the Street Profits was like, what you mean if? Like when we win. And then of course, Solo come walking up like whether you win or not, like the Street Profits ain't going nowhere with my MFTs. They are going after them tag team titles. And the Street Profits was like, nigga, let me tell you something. It don't matter if it's an MFT, DIY, EBT, ABC, bitch. We don't give a damn. The Street Profits are up. Street Profits, B5, we up, and we want the smoke. Period. And then they walked away. They shut. Now the whole time, Tyler was looking in the back because Tyler felt the energy. He felt an ominous presence in that backyard. Okay, he was like, "What the fuck is going on around here?" And Solo's trying to tell him, like, listen, we got our game plan and our strategy. He said, hey, Tyler, you good? Is you good, big man? Tyler, like, yeah, I'm good. So they walked away. Then you see the Wyatt coming to the screen again. So the Wyatts was lurking around everybody all night. All right. Now, this match came up. This match was actually really, really good. Street Profits versus DIY. They had their respective managers in their corner. Candace was in their corner. BFAB was in the Street Profits corner. Now, Candace became a factor when Candace interfered multiple times. Candace interfered on behalf by stopping Dawkins from taking out Ciampa in the beginning of the match. She also interfered by trying to Hurricane Rana Montez, which she actually did. It didn't get executed correctly, and I think it was because Montez being on the edge of the apron and having to flip off from her Hurricane Rana, it's it's a little jarring because your initial reaction being on the edge of something is to stop yourself from falling. You know what I'm saying? So Montez didn't execute it initially. He flipped over after Candace finished the move and was already off of his neck. By the time he flipped, it looked like he waited to flip. Is how it looked. So that was a little botchery, but I chalked that up to him I chalked that up to him finishing out what was supposed to happen, even though he could have changed it. Like Mid said, he could have changed it, and because Candace was holding on, and he did not flip over. You know what I'm saying? I personally would have but the difference between and this is where I'm gonna ask the question because when you saw that initially, the issue wasn't Candace. The issue was that Montez didn't flip over in time, correct? So you're not blaming Candace for not executing the move correctly. You blaming the person that you see not perform the finish of the move, right? So when you look at this and compare it to the match that Jade had with Tiffany Stratton, go back to the moment where Tiffany Stratton was supposed to be in the right position. So when Jade rolled her up, her foot would hit the bottom rope. She was not in the right spot. So they had to overcompensate. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Same thing happened with
And I don't think
Montez.
Candace was in the right spot neither. That had he flipped when he was supposed to, Candace wouldn't have been safe.
He waited until Candace was out of the way
Yeah.
and then he flipped off. Either way, it was a botch. Okay. So, um, in this match, they finished the match with Candace interfering 3 times. Once she got to the third time of interfering, B-Fab finally woke her ass up from being thrown into the edge. I will say this. That lady resilient than a motherfucker because it looked like when she got thrown into them damn steel steps that she busted her shit. I swear she busted her head on them damn steps, okay? But it looked like her hip was what hit the steps and not her head.
She got them hands up quick
Right,
enough time and sold it with her hip.
right, because it looked gnarly. It looked gnarly. Now, Candace was able to have free will to do whatever she want in terms of interference, and for a little while they did. But Montez was able to kick out, so that saved the match. We get to the final minutes of the match, and beat that pump kicks Candace dead in her shit. Champa and Montez are in the ring. Montez tags in Dawkins. Gargano's already out. He's already been laid out by Dawkins and taken out. So that he's not even going to be a factor. Dawkins tags in Montez. Dawkins slams Champa on the mat. Montez frog splashes on him, and Dawkins gets the win. The boys pick up the W, and they're proceeding forward. Now, after this match was over, okay, they talked about Drew McIntyre basically kicking Cody through the announcers table. Let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna be honest with you, baby. I ain't sat there and listened to this man ramble. I wasn't. I know that he said something to the effect of, "I didn't attack you, you attacked me, and I retaliated." To his credit, he is telling the truth. After the match was over, Cody was fighting with Drew. John Cena was fighting with Logan Paul. And the fight continued. Cody stopped fighting and with him and got out the ring and attacked Drew McIntyre. That's not a lie. That is true. Drew, however, took it a step further once he decided that he basically wanted to kill him. Now I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I calls it like I see it. And if you're gonna be fair, then let's be fair. Drew McIntyre is not lying when he says, "Well, Cody attacked me first, and I was simply retaliating." It's just his retaliation was extremely brutal. Now, Cody gonna have to eat this one on the chin and come back at this motherfucker with all hands and guns blazing because you definitely did attack him. That's not a lie. Drew was on the outside of the ring. If you don't remember what happened on the match last week, I'll tell you. He was on the outside of the ring. John Cena and Cody had their arms raised because they won the match last week, if I recall. He got out the ring, started going after um Drew, and then he was getting ready to put Drew through the table. And that's when Drew was able to turn the tide on him. And he kicked, as soon as he saw his head next to that table, he kicked him in the head through the table. Now, Drew made it very clear. He was like, "Where's the update?" He said, "Usually we get a medical update on people. How come we ain't got one on Cody?" I don't know why you're so concerned about a medical update. I don't know why you need that. Because you could just tell Cody straight up, when you bring your ass back here, I'm going to give you another ass whooping and you're going to give me a title shot. Since you want to be out here attacking me and you can't hold up your end of the bargain, you can't start shit. Don't write no checks your ass can't cash. Like, that should be flat out what you say. Don't write checks that your ass can't cash. And when you bring your ass back here, if you start some more shit, I'm going to whoop your ass again. But instead of just whooping your ass and taking you out for a week or two, I'm going to take your championship and then take you out. That's all you had to say. But instead, we got a long diatribe about how he feels good about it and how he's amazing and Drew he's not. Cody Rhodes don't understand that I'm the fucking nightmare and he's not and blah blah blah. And I was like, ugh. I can understand what you're saying sometimes, but every now and then it's like, girl, please shut the fuck up. please, please spare me the bullshit, please, because I'm tired. We're tired, honey. WWE sometimes makes things way too obvious for people watching the show, where they have Drew out there praising his handiwork before he even wins the important match, just to see Drew end up losing. Oh, it was Eric Rowan back there. He said, "What does that even stand for?" You talking about MFT? I think it stands for My Family Tree. At least that's what they told me. Pretty Ricky, what they call them. Okay, so back to Switchblade. He said sometimes WWE makes things way too obvious for people watching the show, where they have Drew out there praising his handiwork before he even wins the important match, just to see Drew end up losing. Well, I mean, let's put it this way: they do it with everybody. Drew McIntyre is not the only one, and to be fair, Drew had to say something. Was he not supposed to say anything about attacking Cody? That's the only way to continue to build the feud. He can praise himself for his handiwork when he come out there. That's one of the slimiest and villainous things you can do as a heel. There's nothing wrong with that. If he wins or loses, he still should do that. And he's done that before. I don't think Drew McIntyre is going to beat Cody. He shouldn't beat Cody. If we're being fair, he shouldn't beat him. Like, my thing is this: if they don't heighten the feud, are you going to be interested? You would have been okay with Drew McIntyre attacking Cody and not saying anything until Cody returned, because even if he didn't, Cody would have addressed it at some point. But Drew McIntyre's the kind of heel where he's not going to leave anything up to chance or let you figure out what he did or why he did it. He's going to tell you, and he's going to keep telling you over and over and over again. He did it with CM Punk. He did it with Seth freaking Rollins. He did it with everybody he's ever attacked. Everybody. Every single one of them. That's not a WWE thing. That's just a Drew thing. Like, Drew's legitimately like that. Tyler Tonga finally speaks. This better be something WWE does on rare occasions. Oh, all right.
That's crazy.
They got Tyler seeing dead people. He was the only one that recognized that they were out there. He was the only one that recognized they were back there. Yeah, it stands for My Family Tree. Thank you, Aaliyah. He sensed the evil spirits and did. Oh, now that makes sense. That's what it stands for. The show was a mess. You thought so? I got to be honest, Nicole. It was better than last week because last week was it was it was a struggle. It was a struggle. That's crazy because he's relying on the medical report like it wasn't an option that he could have refused medical attention. I don't understand what he needs to have a medical report for. Like, you already did the damage. What do you need to know when he's coming back or how he's coming back? Why do you care? It gives very much scary ass nigga to me. Because if I attack somebody, I wouldn't give a fuck when they came. Bitch, I don't care. I would have told Nick all this whenever he decides to rear his head again. I'm gonna take his ass out again. You need to make sure he has security. That's how I would have said it. I wouldn't be asking about no medical reports and when he's gonna return because I could give less than a damn. Girl, you don't want to see it. You don't want to see it, baby. Drew always doing too much. That's the kind of character he has. He is always over the top, very much a dramatic queen.
drama king.
Very much. You don't want to see it, Nicole. I promise you, you didn't miss nothing. And I don't even mean that to be disrespectful or rude. I literally mean you did not miss nothing. You did not miss nothing last week. Nothing. Nothing. So he can rub it in our faces like the bracelet. It's the formula. That's how he is. That's why I was telling Switchblade. I don't think it's a WWE thing. It's a Drew thing. But he's right when he says that they give away a lot. But then too, like if you're not in tune with it, like I am, where you have a kind of an idea of the formula. For you, it's just an everyday thing of watching TV. You're not really paying attention to the the formula of how it's done. You're not paying attention to that because you're just watching it. To some people it's just a TV show, and you're not looking for the patterns. But I can't explain why I do that, but I do. It happens often. It doesn't really matter what I'm watching. I've done it with movies, and AJ hates it. If something is about to happen in a movie, I can pretty much predict it down to the last second, and he can't stand it. I can't help it. My brain is processing it as I'm seeing it, and I can. It's called foreshadowing. I can see it before it happens, and I become very disinterested if I already know what's going on. But because I liken watching wrestling to watching cartoons as a child. Do you get what I'm saying, babe? Like I watch it like that, so I don't do that. Even though I can pretty much I can if I'm watching it, I can predict how it's gonna happen. I can predict like how I can see it. I can predict where it's gonna go from here, and I can still be interested in it. I can't explain that to you, but it happens. Not gonna lie, the best option would be to have Drew to against Cody, else Drew will not look to have him win against Cody, or else Drew will not look very credible anymore if he loses another opportunity at a world title. Okay, let me put this into perspective. So let's talk about when we saw Solo face off against Cody like 2 or 3 times. What was that? Last year? Wasn't it last year when Solo was facing off against Cody
So.
and constantly attacking Cody, constantly going up them, and then like all Cody had to flank him was Kevin and Randy at the time. Then Randy got gone for like 2 months. Randy was out, and then Kevin ended up switching up on him. So Solo was done. Like Solo had at least 3 opportunities at that championship. Did Solo lose his credibility because he lost those 3 title shots? For real, I'm really asking. Like anybody in the comments, like anybody listening, anybody just willing to say no or yes. Did Solo lose his credibility because he lost all those title shots against Cody? And we're talking multiple title shots now. I do not see the future. it's really it's really not that serious. I legit want to know. I'm asking. Did he lose his credibility as a potential challenger? He didn't lose his credibility. Okay, he didn't lose his credibility. Switchblade, I'm asking you too. Like, did you do you think that he deserved to be a champion still after he lost to Cody? Solo didn't look very credible after that. That's what you're saying. Okay, but he was then able to not only move. The only reason why he didn't get another title shot was mainly because obviously you had the issue with Solo challenging 3 times. Solo had challenged as many times after the first loss. Now put this into perspective. Solo had 3 title shots. 3. If I can remember, he had 3 of them. This is Drew's first title shot against Cody. And you're saying by your knowledge that if Drew loses this title shot, that he loses credibility as a potential champion or a potential challenger for the title. And I 1000% disagree. If that's the case, then every feud you've watched with every person who has gone after a champion and they've had like put it into perspective. Let's look at Becky and you look at Lyra. Lyra was the champion. It took Becky what? Becky lost the first title shot. She lost that one clean to Lyra. Technically, if we're going by your logic, then Becky should not have been able to challenge Lyra again for the title. One, because Lyra has beaten Becky multiple times prior to this, and two, this was her shot. She lost. Did she beat Lyra up after the match? Sure, but she lost the match. She lost. Then she cheated to retain in the second match. Then she had their match. Now, all I'm saying is, if we're going by your logic, Solo shouldn't have got two more title shots because he lost clean to the first one. Becky shouldn't have got a title shot because she lost clean to the first one. Okay. Yeah, in a way, Solo did not look very credible after that, but he kept wrestling them. They kept giving him title shots. With Solo, it made sense because his bigger rivalry was against Roman. It doesn't make sense to keep giving him title shots if he's just gonna lose it. You could have done that feud with Solo without the title shots. You don't have to do that. I was bored during the second Solo title shot, but they gave Drew like five chances against Randy during the Thunder. Well, true. But with Drew, it's not just Cody in a vacuum, but overall, this past 3 years, he's not. It's not like Drew's never gonna get a title again. If they need to give somebody, here's the thing: if you're watching wrestling and your thought process is the credibility of a superstar based off of win and loss record, then you're never going to enjoy wrestling. Because if that's the case, then Sami Zayn shouldn't be where he is right now, which possibly defending a title or possibly getting the title off of Solo and being champ. That shouldn't be happening because Sammy's been losing and getting beat a lot, which happens often for a lot of people. If it's going to be about wins and losses, then a lot of people shouldn't be getting title shots or even in the title picture. If we go by that logic, Cody shouldn't be champion right now because he lost majorly to Roman the first time, big time. Even though he had to work his way back up, he lost. You know, you look at what happened with Finn Balor when Seth was a face. He had the title. Finn lost all three title shots. Even when he cheated, he lost the title shots. Now I won't say that it didn't diminish Cody Finn in terms of being a potential champion while Seth had the title. What I will say is the character that he was portraying at the time, it didn't need to get the title. It needed to continue to be knocked down. The only way that was to happen was he had to keep losing and everybody else in the group was succeeding. He needed to be marginalized so that the next set of events, which is destroying what is built now as the Judgment Day, is reinvigorating it in his image because that's what he wanted. But the only way he could do that was they had to break up their little family. And why? How could you do that when Finn essentially wasn't jealous of anybody and everybody was working together? Remember, but Damian Priest got the one prize that he wanted. That was the catalyst to get Finn to start destroying the group from the inside out. If we go by your logic, storylines will not make sense. Nobody is going to have a true storyline. Drew McIntyre probably is not going to beat Cody on this first run, but that doesn't mean he won't continue to fight and have a feud. There's a reason why feuds happen. There's going to be wins and losses in all feuds. Some people are going to take more losses than wins. But if you're gonna calculate it by, oh, Drew McIntyre isn't credible because he's losing matches, and for the last couple of years, yeah, he's lost a lot of matches. But Drew McIntyre just won at SummerSlam. Like it or not, he won that match at SummerSlam. Okay, he got enough momentum to be pushed forward. Just because he lose this match with Cody, if he does, because you never know. You never know what Triple H and them is thinking. Which I don't. I mean, to be fair, I don't see it happening. Is it possible? Yeah, but I don't see it happening. But you need to give Cody something, and Drew McIntyre ain't got shit to do. He's viable. Randy's not there at the moment, so you can't have Randy facing off against Cody right now, which they probably gonna want to save until Royal Rumble, which I would, so they can have something cool for Royal Rumble. Right now, you got Drew. Keep it with Drew. Make the feud worthwhile, which is what they're gonna do. Drew McIntyre know his position. He get paid just like everybody else. Hold on. Okay. Same thing can be said for Bailey and Rhea after they lost multiple title shots and still have credibility. I mean, Rhea Ripley technically shouldn't be going after the Women's World Championship anymore. She has lost every title shot since she lost to Rhea Ripley. I mean, to Io Sky. She has lost every single title shot, every single one of them. So technically, Rhea shouldn't be going after that championship. Not at all. But her credibility ain't went down. Many of your favorites have struck out on the World Series, my dudes. Also, for Finn, who has had multiple title shots in the past 5 years, he still has credibility and can still be a contender for the title. If he wasn't too busy being messy in Judgment Day, maybe he messy as hell though. All right, we talked about the Street Profits, and we talked about Drew. The last match of the night was between MFT and Jacob, Sammy, and Jimmy. Now in the back, Jacob, Sammy, and Jimmy was basically talking, and it was like Sammy was talking to Jimmy, and he was like, "Hey, yo, bro, it felt good to be out there with you. It felt like old times." He's like, "How long has it been since we teamed?" And Jimmy was like, "It's been a long time." And he was like, "I appreciate you coming out there to have my back." And he said, "Hey, Jacob, I appreciate you having my back too." Jacob was like, nigga, I don't know you. I don't know you like that. And he was like, I don't fuck with you like that. I had my brother back. I don't know about you. Sammy was like, well, if he your brother, he also is my brother. So if this is your brother, then you my brother. Like, is you cool? Is you cool though? Jacob was like, yo, keep him on my way. Jimmy was like, he said, yada I mean. He said, damn, what do yada I mean? Jimmy said, baby, that's a good thing. They went out there and had the match. It was pretty cool. They won their match. And then we got to see a nice little moment between Jacob and Sammy, which I loved. It was so good. I loved it. It was a nice moment because Sammy was doing his move and everything. It was so cute. I loved it. It was a good time. Drew winning the title from Cody works better for Cody. Cody is one of those guys where his story of chasing the title seems more interesting than when he's champion. That is subjective to opinion. I think that's something that you're more interested in. And a lot of people could say that, but Drew actually works better. For me, he works better when he doesn't have a title. I don't think Drew McIntyre should win the championship right now. I also think that Drew McIntyre moving in this space that he's been moving in, he gonna be losing a lot. Like the way his character reacts, like I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve a title. That's not what I'm saying at all. I am of the latter. I don't have an issue with Drew McIntyre. Everybody who's been in here long enough knows I love Drew. Drew's one of my favorites. But I also could call a spade a spade. Giving Drew McIntyre the title right now, when Drew McIntyre is nothing but a big troll. And Cody hasn't really got to the point where it Cody's at the cusp of turning. You need Drew McIntyre to help push him over the edge because Drew's just that petty, just that nasty, that he's going to lend some credence as to why Cody has turned into Homelander, because it's coming. It is coming. Cody has been a face now for what?
Since he been back.
Since he came back. When did Cody return to WWE? When did he come back? In 2022 at WrestleMania 38. It's 2026. That was 4 years ago. That means he's been a face for 4 years. This is why I say feuds mean something. Okay, so you have to look at the overall picture. You're only focusing on Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is a set piece. He is a part of the cog in the wheel. He is going to be one of the biggest turning points for Cody Rhodes. This is about building Cody, thinking about where Cody can go from Drew. Drew is going to be a formidable opponent for Cody. You need Drew McIntyre to kick off to start this, because even as a face, Cody Rhodes really wasn't the type of person to attack or take people out. But after he went up against John Cena and John Cena came back as him, his former self, Cody Rhodes changed. If you notice in his match, Cody Rhodes was brutal. This also started around the time that he went after Randy to become king of the ring, right? He did not hesitate when it came to Randy. He went after Randy's weakest points. He was taking him out. He has shifted. There's a shift there. The point is, Drew McIntyre is a pivotal piece in this puzzle. You gotta let him go up against Drew. Drew has to stay a heel. You can't just give him the title, making him get the title and then turning Cody heel. I don't want to see that. Let Cody go through the trials of being a champion. That man has been getting beaten down. He's been getting bullied. He's been getting destroyed by multiple superstars for over 3 years. At some point, he's got to break. There's got to be a straw that breaks the camel's back. And I think that straw is going to be Drew. You have to think about Drew's character and what he really does. He is a troll beyond belief. This ain't gonna be no walk in the park for Cody, whether he was or wasn't. Drew McIntyre's always been a formidable opponent. But the point I'm trying to make is sometimes it ain't about what you want necessarily or what you want to see. You gotta look at the overall picture. Okay? And giving Drew McIntyre the title right now, yeah, it'll open up some doors for other people to possibly challenge to be champion, but it ain't gonna do nothing for Cody, and all it's gonna do is give Drew another title that he more or less will drop at either WrestleMania or the pay-per-view afterwards next year. Just keeping it real. I really was. I really was. I love Drew. I do. I'm just saying, I understand what he's there for. I do. Like Paul Heyman, while he's a obviously he's a liaison for Seth, but he, to be honest, Seth only got him because Roman had him. If Seth could do it without Paul Heyman, he would. He only need Paul to be able to maintain him where he is, so he looks big and he gets this grandiosity, right? But that's part of the reason why he Seth wants what everybody else has been getting, or what he feels his counterparts has been getting that he hasn't been getting. The spotlight, the top of the food chain, right? He wants to be able to shape the wrestling world in his image. The only thing he needs from Paul Heyman is Paul Heyman's ability to manipulate, obviously, and maintain their laid out elaborate plans. But if he could do it without Paul, he most definitely would. But again, they're set pieces. Look at Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. If Seth could do it by himself, he wouldn't have them on in no squad. You know damn well Seth is all about himself. He would have cut their asses loose a long time ago. But he need protection. See, he got to have some protection, so he got to keep them on the side. Now, whatever promises he's made to these two men, he better deliver because if he don't, they both gonna be whipping his ass. So he keeps them at bay, make sure they fed. You know what I'm saying? Keep them fed. I'm just saying when it comes to Drew though, he's not gonna lose any credibility in my opinion as someone who's gonna face off. I just don't. I just don't think that. Something is off about WWE's rosters in general. All credible challengers that Cody can go through as a babyface are on Raw, but all the babyfaces that can challenge Seth are on SmackDown. Maybe we shouldn't be looking at them as babyfaces and and babyfaces and heels because Roman Reigns technically isn't a babyface or a heel because he'll take out CM Punk right there in your face and then go after Seth Rollins right there. He doesn't really fit in either of those categories. Seth is on Raw and he has a lot of opponents in terms of faces. If you're talking about Jay Uso is a face, the biggest baby face on in the brand. Outside of Cody Rhodes, Jay Uso is your biggest baby face. Then you have currently on Smack on Raw, you got now LA Knights over there. It looked like LA Knight and Sammy done swapped shows. So LA Knight is over there on Raw, and he's technically your anti-hero. He's not a heel, but he's not a face either. And then you have CM Punk, who most definitely is a face character. He is not a heel. Now, in terms of potential opponents on SmackDown for Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre was your most viable person on the roster currently at the moment. Could you have put LA Knight on Cody Rhodes? Yes, you most definitely could have put LA Knight on Cody Rhodes. You could put Jacob on Cody Rhodes. Jacob is right there. He is viable. Sammy is now on SmackDown. He's a face character, but eventually, if he doesn't get the US title, you could have Sammy face off against Cody Rhodes, which they have done faces versus faces before. Okay, this is not that's not new. Now, if you want to be really weird and do some weird shit, Uncle Howdy is right there. Uncle Howdy is right there, and the story would be interesting because Cody has never faced off against anything like Uncle Howdy or the Wyatts. And to me, that's an interesting story. They don't have to do it traditionally where it's always a face and a heel. They don't have to do that. Plus, Randy is still on Raw, SmackDown. Randy is still a SmackDown character, and they have not done Randy and Cody's feud yet, except for when they faced off at King of the Ring. They haven't fought each other again after that, and Randy told him that they would see each other again for that championship if he got it back, and Cody did get it back. So Drew McIntyre is probably just the placeholder until Randall returns. And when that happens, then you got Randy versus Cody. Because in December, John Cena is gonna be gone. He going off into the sunset, Jesus. And then you can think about reassessing the roster. I think after Mania, they should. I hope they don't do the draft in September. You know what I'm saying? Because by then, that's sweeps week, and by then everybody is still, they still done set up feuds. Everything is still heading into Survivor Series. They heading into Royal Rumble. So I hope they don't do that. But like, I wish they would do it after WrestleMania. After WrestleMania, they need to do a roster shakeup and reset everything. Plus, I think they're gonna bring Obafemi up very soon. I also think Lash Legend is gonna pop up on the roster for the girls. I really think that Trick Williams and Oba are gonna be pulled from NXT very soon, and that's gonna help even out some of that roster as well. Oh, they do have that portal, yeah. If anything, I feel like most of the roster in general have anti-heroes. Yeah, they do have a lot of anti-heroes. I want to see Seth's faction also go after Cody, where Braun Breaker challenges Cody. That would be an interesting feud. If that's what you want to see, I'm not gonna shit on it. And ladies and gentlemen, that was the end of the show. I was answering a lot of Switchblade answers. I like when Switchblade comes in because he the only one that be really putting in stuff in the comments that make me have to answer stuff. So I appreciate you, Switch. I do disagree with you sometimes, but that don't mean nothing. I do appreciate you for being in here. I appreciate you a lot. Anyways, y'all listen. I'm gonna get my ass up out of here. I've been talking for an hour. And I'm gonna go. I will see y'all Monday. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna come on here tomorrow. If I do, I'll let y'all know in my little channel over there on Instagram. Y'all can follow me on all my social media platforms. Okay. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.